What's up, everyone? New rotation of Doom Tower, 4 new bosses, and I'm already having people wonder how to kill them. Okay, so I'm going to go through each of my bosses, the first 4 bosses on hard, and just kind of show you the team setup I use and why they work. And then we can hopefully, you can work on your teams. Of course, you may not have the exact same champions, but if you can work with teams like this, I think it'll work well for you. So again, theory, teach you about the theory, and then it's just a matter about you getting the gear, getting the right champions, getting the similar champions that kind of do the same thing, and go from there. So we'll start with Dark Fae. So Dark Fae is actually kind of tricky because as soon as you get to her, she's copying all your champions, which means you have to fight your own champions in order to get to her for the first round. Very important, very crucial that you're bringing AoE champions, you're bringing decreased turn meter champions. You're going to get the first hit, but you're going to need to bring champions that can decrease their turn meter, because your fastest champion will kind of beat your slowest champion on their team, if that makes sense. So this is who I actually use, who works quite well. I go with Alessandra to lead. So her opener, A, she'll have the speed aura, but B, she brings the opener of decrease their turn meter, increase our speed. So that's how we're going to open. We're going to move into Krila, which is either going to counterattack or put up buffs and AoE nuke. Most likely I go AoE nuke, which then goes into Ninja and Herndig. And then Allure is my slowest champion. She'll go last. So, actually, sorry, she's my second champion. She'll actually go second on the team. But the way this team works is AoE, we have to have all our abilities by the boss. Okay, so there does need to be some manual to it. We can't necessarily go full auto because we may not have our skills available to us, and then by the time the boss comes, it most likely will be a wipe. So the first wave, you can use your skills. That's not an issue, as long as you're going to manual and get them all back for wave 2. Now, it is important to bring some champions that decrease turn meter. Although the boss is 50% turn meter effect, if you will, it still works. So multiple allures will work. Again, I have Alessandra and Allure and Herndig that all do decreased turn meters. Geomancer could work as well. But the important piece here is that you're bringing champions ideally that are all the same affinity, or some neutral and the same affinities. What you don't want is to bring one of each affinity. And the reason is, if Faye gets a turn, she's going to copy your champion. She's going to copy potentially, let's say magic affinity. Now you're going to have a weak affinity that's going to counter it, and a strong affinity potentially. But your champion's going to nuke you and kill you right back. So ideally, if you can get all of the same affinities or some neutral affinities, I know that Herndig is the one that gets copied all the time. So I need to bring champions that can kill Herndig, who is at this point one of my strongest champions. So here we are at the boss. As you can see, the copied Alessandra is ready to go. If I don't drop her turn meter, she's going to drop mine, and then I'm pretty much wiping. So I'm going to decrease their turn meters, which allows me to go a second time. At this point, I could use the A1 and try to drop it further, but I know putting up that shield, getting some damage out, and that sleep will work. Again, with Krila, I have a choice. I can do counterattack, which I have done, and get lucky, and then we counterattack the boss. Or I'll just AoE nuke and get their damage down lower. And then that leaves us with 2 champions. So at this point, I'm going to wipe them clean and really just make sure they're all gone. Herndig will come in, decrease the turn meter a bit, get a nuke in with the weaken. I will then decrease turn meter again, and then decrease turn meter yet again. And then at this point we can counter. We get lucky, we'll ally attack with Allure. We didn't get lucky, but turn meter's still low. And then we just basically at this point are going to kill the boss. So it is relatively easy. Now, if Faye does get a turn, which she very well might, she's going to recopy my Herndig. I just need to ensure that I have my skills ready on Ninja, which I do, to drop Herndig again. Just to make sure that I'm able to kill her. So I can do the burn again, get the damage out, and there's the copy. So at this point, we're going to just use our AoE skills, make sure that he dies. And then we get our champ back, and we keep going. Okay, so pretty much every time I run this, Faye only ever gets one turn, pulls my Herndig, and then I'm able to get him out and go from there. So a relatively easy boss. Now, theoretically, in theory, the team like this can work at higher levels. I've seen multiple allures that do it better with counterattack, ally attack, just because one or two of them are getting that turn meter down, and if Faye never gets a turn, then she never gets to go. Second boss we have is the Griffin. Now this week he's on magic. I bring a team like this in, just a little bit of debuffs, not tremendously, because he actually pushes our debuffs back to us. They also strip our buffs, so this boss does. So again, I tend to manual my first couple waves, and the reason is I know that typically I'm able to kill these waves with my damage dealers, and I want to make sure that I have my skills ready to go in time. So I don't need these skills on Leo. Alrighty, so first move of the boss is going to strip our buffs. So ideally, we don't have any buffs. And then there's the buff strip. Alright, so now next wave, he's going to push all of his debuffs onto us. So we do want to make sure we're coming in with a block debuff champion. And I actually have two with Sifi, so I'm actually going to hold off on that one, because in that way I make sure we're alternating. So there we go. Now the third move he has is attack one enemy, 100% chance to place fear, and it actually is a strong hit. So at this point we can load up on the debuffs. I will go, and there we go. Plus is that nuke, but boss is gonna strip our buffs again, which is fine because they should be back up in time. So I'm not going to do any debuffs. I'm going to have that decreased defense come at me. It's okay. But I will put out the shield, the increased defense now, and hold off here. We can get the debuffs up because he doesn't push it for 2 turns. So if you got things like burns and poisons and things like that, after that A2 of the boss, that's a good time to push him all onto the boss, go all out. So there you have it. For the most part, to kill the Griffin, you just need to make sure that you're waiting on when to use those certain skills. Again, they become tough to full auto. It's tough to full auto just because you need to make sure that the skills are up and you're using the skills on time. You can look to tweak the team and full auto it, but for the most part, it took me 3-4 minutes of manualing. Once you do get into a cycle, though, into a rhythm, you're good to go. And Scarab's no different. So A team like this for Scarab, I mean, we all know Scarab. Scarab comes pretty much every week. Same with the Griffin. But I go with a Cold Heart just to get the shield down. Um, turn meter drop, turn meter drop, turn meter drop. So I got 3 turn meters drops. And then I do bring Duchess in just because of the block debuffs, the revive should I need it, and her A1 puts out a shield on Cold Heart. And then I also bring Maneater in. Maneater will put the heal reduction on the boss as well. You could bring in a Renegade, but Maneater brings some damage and Maneater. Shalad brings some damage and brings some wave clear as well. So here we are. Again, you want to make sure all your skills are up by the boss. So boss comes in. What we're going to do is we're going to just right away start to decrease turn meters. All right, so about 100 turns. It does take a little while just because I don't have that recycling on Cold Heart. If you can get some refresh accessories and you get lucky, then that much better. But you do need a destroy set on Cold Heart for Scarab to work. And then we have Dreadhorn. So the first level 10 of Dreadhorn is actually relatively easy. You should be able to bring in some champions that, as long as you can, stay alive, revive yourself, and go through it, you should be fine. I'm going to bring in a team like this. So Godseeker is actually like an awesome champion. If you have her, definitely recommend building her. She comes in handy so many places with her passive revive. When somebody's about to die, she's got her own revive. Plus, she heals the rest of everybody else. Duchess heals everybody. Revives everybody, and puts out some increased attack. Geo's going to come in there and actually put out some burns and damage based on the damage he takes. Leo's only in there to clear the waves, to be honest, and then Vogoth is in there to heal the team as they take damage. So 2 Vogoths actually work better. So what Vogoth does is 50% of the damage Vogoth takes. Vogoth will counter or heal the rest of the team. So when the boss hits us, it's only 30% of the damage taken. So therefore, when the boss is hitting us with the boss skills, we don't heal our team as much. But the bombs on the side are not considered boss. So when the bombs explode and you got 2 Vogoths, you're actually healing for 100% of the damage taken back to the rest of the team, which is pretty awesome. So that alone works well. You could use it as long as they're beefy enough to, survive the initial wave of bombs. But the more the boss hits you and burns you and triggers all of that, if you got bombs on yourself, and your debuffs are being taken away from you and you're being stunned, you're pretty much game over. So you just need to be mindful of that. All right, so here we are. Now the boss is going to strip buffs off of us. Every time we put a debuff on the boss, we're going to get a bomb attached to us. Every time we drop the turn meter of the boss, these side bombs are going to spawn. These bombs are coming in, and then you're constantly healing, and then you're bringing in a Geomancer, because when Geomancer takes damage, Geomancer's passive is reflecting back. So you're kind of keeping the team alive, but passively attacking the boss. And there we go. Like, we're chunking down here. So, I mean, 1.3 million damage on Vogoth. It's definitely not like a Burgiri cheese where you're taking, 30 minutes to kill this boss. Um, 2 Vogoths would work. I just bring Godseeker in there just to kind of heal the rest of everybody else, and any type of the boss hits us, try to get that heal back. But even if we replace her with somebody that decreases turn meter, a second Vogoth even, it should be good. And just out of curiosity's sake, we're going to bring 2 Vogoths in and see if this is any better than Godseeker. Okay, so here we are at the boss. We got 2 Vogoths this time around. I don't have somebody that can really decrease turn meter other than Geo with that burn. And there you go. So a little bit better with these Vogoths doing the healing. Geomancer virtually did the same amount of damage, a little bit more to pick up the slack of these Vogoths. But Dreadhorn made easy. 2 Vogoths. I would get rid of Leorius and put somebody in there that decreases turn meter. The only reason I have Duchess in there is to constantly pick the team up and we go again and again and again, because Duchess is able to tank and never take a debuff, which is good. So if we can get, someone that can drop turn meter instead of Leo, like I said, Leo's only in there to clear waves, then we're getting a lot of bombs. And again, because I'm curious, and this is what we do, right? We test. I'm going to bring somebody that I know drops turn meter. Wave Cavalier is going to be a little bit slow, but let's see what happens. Alright, so here we are. It took us about 3 minutes to get to the boss because we don't have any damage dealers here. But eventually we got there. Let's see how quick we can actually take this boss down. So 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's see what we can do. A little bit bad luck, but we missed the burn. Otherwise, the boss would have been done about a minute ago. But not bad, right? Like a couple minutes to kill this boss, as long as you have the 2 Vogoths doing all that healing. Geomancer making sure that burn goes out. Somebody to really decrease their turn meter constantly to get those bombs out so that we can get that massive damage hitting us, and Geomancer can reflect it. Alrighty, there you have it. The 4 bosses. Hopefully that helps. Catch you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.